Hey, what's going on, YouTube? What's happening? So, CC Talk is back, coming through with some coming and going news for Days of Our Lives. Wow, interesting. You know, was it 18 hours? Because the first coming came from Farah Fath. And she is returning. Yes, I said returning because some of y'all are running around, some Twitter saying like, oh, who is this Mimi? She's a new character and Ron is going to write the show around her. Like, no, it's nothing like that. Mimi is played by Farah Fath. Okay, she's always been Farah Fath. She's been on that show since 1999. Okay, when it was the Last Blast crew. I will leave the links and stuff at the bottom for you all that want to refresh your history or get to know her history. But she was in that Last Blast crew with Sean, Bill, Philip, Chloe, Brady, Jan. Yeah, Jan, Mimi, and Chloe were like the only three from that Last Blast crew that they didn't have any family connections at the time. They had to build them one. I know Chloe's was first, then it was Mimi, and I don't know if Jan ever had her family be introduced to the show. I can't remember, but I know for a fact, those were the three. And then Sean, his parents was Bo and Hope. Bill's was John and Marlena's. Phillips was Kate and Victor's. And Brady's was John and Isabel. And those stories at the time was great because they were just fun teenagers. It wasn't all about the acting for them. It was just the mere fact that they were connected to the super couples at the time. But also they were just fun teens that they were written more like a Saved by the Bell for Days of Our Lives, put it that way. And they had their little issues every once in a while, like dramatic issues, but they were always more on the fun dramedy side than anything. And that whole thing ran for about at least a good 8 years before they decided to shift the show away from them. And but yeah, Mimi, I loved her. That was my bitch. Her and Chloe, them were my bitches. I loved them. Mimi was like, always being homeless. Her mom, who is Bonnie Lockhart, if y'all paid attention to the show last year when Ron had first started writing, he wrote that arc for Bonnie and Hattie. And y'all know Hattie went back to prison, but Bonnie skipped town. So I'm willing to bet Bonnie's about to come back into the fold. But Mimi won't be too far behind. And so y'all know Mimi, when she left the show, for those of y'all that watched for as long as I have, I think she shot somebody before she left, and her mom took the rap for it. And that's how come Bonnie ended up in prison. And Mimi ran off and went with Rex, which was at the time her husband. Now, we all know how Days of Our Lives is. Most of the time with Days of Our Lives, when a couple have been going off of the campus for a while, they'll come back into town and they'll be like newly divorced, or something has bad happened to one of the characters on, off the screen or something. So that's how usually Days does it. But I can't wait for her to return. I really can't. Now I know some people are weary because of this, because Ron did write the hell out of her on One Life to Live those last couple of years of the show, and it wasn't to her favor because she had some really good storylines back then, but because Ron kind of wrote her like a poop didn't stink, and she was on 5 days a week and twice on Sunday, a lot of fans couldn't stand Farah Fath, and Farah Fath has a mouth on her, so if you come for her, she will clap back. She has no apologies about that. So you come in her mentions talking shit, she will clap back. And I love me some Farah Fath because she ain't got no problem doing that. I love that about her. But so I hope Ron has gotten the memo. Don't write this show around Mimi because, again, You've been doing well thus far, bro. Don't write the show around Mimi. Real talk. I love me some Mimi too. And I hope your prologue for her interest story is on point. Don't have us going around the world about her, coming back onto this canvas, and then you go piss off most of the fan base on days, and you gonna be wanting, no, they're gonna be wanting her going off of the show. So you better have your story ready, set, go for Mimi Lockhart and Farah Fath. Real talk. And don't write the show around here. So I hope that Sherry Anderson and Ryan Kwan gets into your ear and lets you know this is still an ensemble piece. So don't be writing the show around her. Okay, so the next one was very shocking. This one came in at around like 12:45 a.m. my time, and got the news from Daytime Confidential that Marci Miller, who plays Abigail Deborah Demera, is leaving the show. She quit. Apparently, it was on her Facebook. She announced it, and Daytime Confidential, as well as the other soap bloggers out there, caught it. And yeah, she's leaving the show. And I don't know if there's going to be a recast. There's already the whispers and the rumors that Kate Mansi might be coming back. And I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of times, and I do it myself too, so don't be sitting up here saying, well, what the hell? But a lot of times in this genre, a lot of fans, including myself, we like to big up a lot of actors and actresses as being like the greatest things since sliced bread, because we just love them. We love them because they usually are on our TV almost every day, Monday through Friday. But I wasn't the biggest fan over Kate Mansi's Abigail. I'm sorry. I did enjoy her, stint, especially when she was in the EJ and Sammy Vortex, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of hers. Even then, I understand she had a certain kind of energy that breathed through that character. But for me, this Abigail played under Marci Miller made me buy into Abigail, because I felt like, to me, Abigail was written more like a heroine, and she played it up well, especially as it pertains to, like, again, the mental illness part of Abigail, because she was always insecure and she could never be herself. So the only way she could be herself was like if she was acting crazy and she was in DID storylines, and and Marci Miller just did a fantastic job with all of that. And so for me, that's just how it is. And so I'm hurt that she is leaving, but best of luck to her in her endeavors. She's a very good actress, people. And I know some people are going to disagree with me on that, but she's a very good actress. She took on the hardest task in the world to come in for a popular actress like a Kate Mansi and slide into that leading actress role and just do a great job. And for me personally, I'm going to miss her playing that character, but it is what it is. Like I said, best of luck to her. I'm pretty sure she'll have, a good chance of getting on to other things like in prime time or in other movie projects, whether it's on Lifetime, Hallmark, or maybe you'll catch her on an A-list movie. You never know. But the next question I know some of y'all are going to approach with me is like, do I think Abigail is going to get recast? For me, people, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to keep it real. And I know some people are going to be mad at me when I say this, but I need a break from Abigail. This to me, I feel like that this is a really good exit storyline for her. But let's be real. The last like 4.5 years or so, even when Kate Mansi was playing Abigail, her mental illness was, a big component to the storytellings for Abigail. And because when Abigail first gave birth to Thomas, what happened? She ended up with PTSD, burning Ben up in the bed, all crazy. Then you go on to Marci Miller's version, she gets the DID storyline. So for me, I just feel like I just need that break. And I want her to be written out well enough where it's like, once she goes, yes, I will miss her, but I'm going to feel okay that Chad, if Billy Miller is still around, Billy Flynn rather, is still around, he can move forward and move on to another woman on the campus, or women on the campus. Because let's be real, Billy Flynn is a good looking man. And I feel like if he's written to being a romantic, businessman, hot and sexy and all that good jazz, instead of being latched on to Abigail, and he gets to spread his wings and be with other women like Gabby and maybe even Mimi. And see, this is why I'm mad at Days of Our Lives. If you looked at my General Hospital video about Elizabeth Henderson going over there, could have got Elizabeth Henderson to be Chelsea Brady. Because Frank Valentini as the snatched Elizabeth Henderson, she could have been Chelsea Brady. Because that would have been hot. Having Elizabeth Henderson and Billy Flynn, ooh, that would have been something else. That would have been so good. And then you could have had Kate ass pushing that couple. Oh man, that would have been some good stuff. So, but y'all messed up with that. Ugh, I can't stand when y'all do that to me. But I want to see how, like I said, I want to see how Billy Flynn, Chad Demara's character, spread his wings out a bit with other women. And we'll see how it turns out, because I have faith in Ron that he's a good enough writer where Chad will be able to move on with another woman or women, and it can be, I don't know, it can be believable and sexy and romantic and whatnot. So I have to trust Ron that he's going to do right by Billy Flynn and the Chad Demara character once Abigail finally exit, and hopefully not recast it. So that's just my opinion. Anyhow, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about what's going on at Corday Productions. And I will holler at you later. Peace for now. Bye.